Well, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jujamon, and today we are going to play Rimworld. We are going to start a new colony. I have all of the DLC except for Anomaly. I'm just really not that into it, and I don't think I'm missing out on a whole lot by not having it. I may end up getting it later, who knows. But for now, we're just going to play with Royalty, Ideology, and Biotech, which are all very fun DLCs. Today we're going to be doing regular Crash Landed with starting 3 people and all of this, no handicaps. Normally I would play with my special set of rules where I start with 5 people and all these handicaps because I really just don't like these incidents. But for this playthrough, no handicaps and starting with 3 people. We are not going to go classic Cassandra because she will eat me alive. We're going to try Phoebe. She's a little bit more chill. She's going to give me a little bit more time to be prepared. But we're going to do adventure story. We're not going to be like peaceful or community builder. We'll at least have like a story, a little adventure. And reload anytime because anything could happen. We're going to bump up the global coverage to 50% so that we have some actual choices and generate the world. Normally, the type of tile I like to choose to play on is a little bit bigger and has a river running through it, preferably some cave systems, at least some mountains or small hills, something we can mine through and gather resources. And that isn't right in the middle of enemy territory or near pollution. So it's kind of like I'm searching for a needle in a haystack. This tile would be relatively nice, except for what I really don't like about it is there's the disease frequency of 1.7. 1.2, honestly, I think is a little high, and it's because it's a rainforest, a tropical rainforest. So you're going to catch more diseases in the rainforest. Alright, I think I'm going to choose this tile. It's here. It's got some enemies close to it, but most of the other civilizations are pretty friendly. And it is mountainous. So that kind of makes us hard to get to, but it will also make it hard for us to get out if we want to make a caravan and travel. So we'll have to be wary of that. And it's not all year round growing, so we'll have to prepare for kind of a short-ish winter. But the disease frequency is at least not 1.7. We're going to do a custom ideology that is fluid. We're going to develop it over time. We're going to start with abstract theism and female supremacy. And then I'm going to go ahead and load up Nightshade's Dream. It's kind of my default ideology that I created. Their name is Nightshade's Dream. They're ethereal. The member noun is a dreamer. They have a divine counselor, and their ritual room is a dark temple. And these are the precepts. You can kind of pause and look through all those. And these are their holidays. And it all gives nearby faction goodwill for every holiday. I'm not a big fan of the other benefits early game. They come in handy more late game. Or at least not the beginning. Now we choose our people, our little nuggets. Mostly I'm just going to make sure they don't have any horrendous traits, that they're not incapable of anything important for early game, especially the first 3. And I also want them to be relatively healthy because I need my first 3 characters to last a while and be able to do a lot. Construction is going to be very important, so is crafting. Intellectual will come in handy a little bit later, but he's also a good fighter, so he is very handy. I think I'm also going to keep her because she's a good shot. She'll be good with animals. She's decent with mining and construction. Artistic is not as helpful, but will be useful later if she survives. She's okay with medical, which will be super important. And I think she's going to be a leader, so it's going to be important for her to have this high social skill. I think I'm going to choose this guy as well, and I want him to go by his first name. He's a slow learner and he's delicate, and both of those traits are not the greatest, but they also aren't the worst. I can work with this. He's a decent shot, and he's going to be a decent cook, which is going to come in handy, especially because I don't think the other two can cook very well. He's also going to be good with animals, and he's going to be awesome with medical and intellectual. We're going to have a lot of smart people. And he comes with a weapon. He's got some health issues, but these aren't going to hinder him too bad. And with him coming with this weapon, I could just make him a melee character and he would poison people. Or I could give him a gun and he could still hit people anyway if they get too close. So now I'm just going to make sure that the rest of these guys don't have horrible stats, so that if we do happen to run into them or they get sent to us, they're decent citizens. Alright, we are ready to start. The three of you awaken your crypto-sleep sarcophagi to the sound of sirens and ripping metal. You barely get to the escape pods before the ship is torn apart. Sometime later, you land on this unknown Rimworld. As pieces of the shredded starship fall around you, you start making plans to survive. Let's take a look at the map that we landed on. There's a huge mountain here, and I really like that. That's going to be awesome for resource mining. There's a giant grow area right here that's pretty close by. Wow. I think this is going to turn out to be an awesome map. There's another grow spot up here. So I'm gonna come down here. What animal did we get stuck with? Is we got a warg on our start. That's awesome. That's pretty rare. It's a nice animal if you can keep a hold of it, if you have high enough animal skill, which 2 of my people should. So we should be able to use this warg to our advantage in hunting and protecting our area. And it also means we don't have to immediately make a pen to keep them. They just kind of run around. And then I'll come over here and make sure all my people will defend themselves if they get attacked. Make sure their schedules are okay. I didn't have any night owls, so nobody needs to flip-flop their schedule. And I don't really like to micromanage when they can have fun and meditate and all that until I get more citizens and a little bit later into the game. But I will handle their priorities. So I take away childcare, wardening, smithing, tailoring, and art and research at the beginning and just completely wipe them off the board because we don't have any of that right now. We can't do any of that, so they don't need to focus on that at all. Their main priorities are going to be hauling, cleaning, basic things, doing a bed rest and being a patient if they're sick or injured, and firefighting. And next, and doctoring as well. Next important business would be cooking, hunting, growing and planting food, making sure the food is taken care of, and then everything else comes after that. And before I can set my nuggets free, I have to allow them to touch all of the things on the map, because if you notice, a bunch of things have a little red X. That means that they're not allowed to touch them or put them anywhere or use them. And I want them to be able to use all of it. Yes, this is going to cause them to run all over the map and gather supplies like steel and extra food packets that have landed everywhere, extra med packs that have landed all over the map. But I kind of want them to do that, at least for the first day, so that we end up with some extra supplies to last us. And then I have to give them a place to put those things that they are now allowed to touch. This zone is going to be set up near where our home base is going to be. So I'm going to put it next to this grow area because I want to center my community around that. And we're going to allow all at first, except for rotten things. And then I'm going to tell them where to put all of their waste, like dead bodies, rotting food. And then I also like to set up a little area for fresh corpses of the human variety. This gives them a place to put corpses that are away from the community so it doesn't give them negative moods all the time. Well, this is for the bodies that are not going to get a burial. So enemies and prisoners and stuff like that. And last but not least, pretty important, I'm going to tell them to immediately start growing a little section of rice. So hopefully after they get done hauling everything into this stockpile, after a day or two, they will immediately begin growing. And then we can move on to another project, such as housing. Speaking of, they need places to sleep, or else they will be unhappy. They're not going to be super happy about sleeping outside, but at least they know where to sleep. And now we set the nuggets free and let them do their thing. I'm gonna go ahead and tell my 2 hunters to equip the 2 guns we start with. As you can see, these two are already lovers. They came that way, so they share a bed. And that frees up a spot for another person to come along. As long as these two can stay together. Now they're cleaning their home area and beginning to grow stuff, which tells me they will be ready for a construction project. I'm going to make a 10 by 10 building to start with. And this is just going to be a general purpose building. It's going to change shape over the course of the gameplay several times. For this playthrough, it's going to be a barracks where they all will sleep, and it's also going to be indoor food storage, so our food doesn't decay as fast. It will still decay because it's not frozen or refrigerated, but it won't be as fast because it won't be outdoors, it'll be indoors. Gonna give them a little bit of entertainment now, since they're working their way through the projects pretty fast. And we're also gonna tell them to chop more wood so that they can finish that building. Wonder like what the little nuggets are doing, like if they're just standing off somewhere. It tells you down here in this little corner every action they are currently taking. We've got a couple notifications that popped up over here. Also, it's telling us we need things. We'll get to those. We have a visitor, a tribe child from Gaka Nation is visiting the colony. She is named Coyote Lyra. She seems to have a few items to trade. I'm not really interested in trading right now, so we'll just close that. And this, passing near the remains of an ancient exostrider mechanoid, Nicole noticed an intact transponder inside. If you could get the transponder, you could read valuable information from it. The massive mech is smashed and fused into a solid piece. You must destroy it to retrieve the transponder. Be careful, the incendiary weapon cells look unstable and will likely detonate after you do some damage. So we'll have to be careful of that and maybe not attack that for a while. But I think this is where we're going to end the playthrough for today. Let me know what you think of my setup so far, and thank you for watching. Subscribe to stay tuned for the next video. Bye!